gentlemen. Titans Part 2, Episode 8. Stacy and Bob, Jeff and Cindy, Ted and Carol, Kory and Dick, Richard and Anders. It's your boy Icon with some DC TV. This didn't come in pink, but you get the gist. And we're going over a little tie-in. So, in the last episode, Dick got his ass beat. Kory and Rachel got drugged. And Brother Blood is in town. So, he's coming for his vengeance, and he will take it in blood. And he pulls his hands into the abyss and pulls out the horn, which will summon Trigon. And both he and Mother Mayhem, they're now going to be on their way to summon the demon of all demons. Before Sebastian leaves, he wants to have another conversation with Rachel. And then when he goes and talks to Rachel, he tries to kill her because he's like, oh, she's the last bit of my weakness that I must expunge from my soul. And then he tries to slit her throat. It doesn't, well, not her throat. He tries to slit her wrist. It doesn't work because it ends up hurting him. He tries to slit her in the stomach. It doesn't work because it ends up hurting him. Well, it worked. I mean, like, she was cut too, but basically Raven told him, she was like, we're both children of Trigon. Like, we're brother and sister. We're connected. So she said, when you do harm to me, the same harm that you do to me also does to you. So when he slit Rachel on the wrist, it also, like, a wound also opened on his wrist in the exact same place. So then he was just like, okay, this isn't going to work. And then he healed his wounds, which in turn healed Rachel's wounds. And then both him and his mama, they got in the car and they left Kali Molly town or whatever the hell they were. So now Brother Blood and Mother Mayhem, they out and they got the horn. Dick and Carol, Ted and Kory, they wake up. They're in the house because remember, Kory had passed out. Rachel had passed out because they got drugged. They got alien drugged. When Rachel passed out, the Ravens, quote, the Ravens nevermore. The Ravens basically all gathered together and flew in like Rachel's location. The sheriff, for some reason, picked up on that and he went down to the barn where the deaf girl and her daddy had Rachel. They busted in. I guess they beat up Rachel and they took Rachel down to the church and have her tied up at the church. Dick and Kory, they wake up. They're in bed together. They argued over whether or not they did the deed. They had on pajamas. There were pictures of them all over a house and everything, and they said that their names were Ted and Carol because they've been, not only they've been drugged, they're low-key being brainwashed. We find out that the waitress and her daddy, they basically rolled up on Dick and Kory later on, and they told them the story. They were like, listen, basically what happened was you got knocked out, and these people were trying to brainwash you. They put receivers in the back of your head because you can see in the back, you can see the receiver in the back, and the music that you hear playing throughout the city is what's brainwashing you. They said in another 2 hours, you're not going to remember who you are. You're going to be Ted, and then you're officially going to be Carol, and you're going to forget your old lives. And then they were just like, well, how come you two aren't brainwashed like everybody else? And they said, because, well, I'm deaf. And then her dad, well, the daughter, she was deaf. They said that she went deaf in a swimming accident, like when she was like 13 or something. But the dad, he basically like damaged his own ears so he wouldn't be affected by, by the hypnosis, because if you can't hear the music, you can't be hypnotized. And he did that to himself because he didn't want to forget his daughter. He didn't want to forget his son because he has a family on the outside. And he basically just wanted to remain who he was. Dick and Kory now, they're trying to figure out how they can find Rachel because they don't know where Rachel is. But at the same time, they're also trying to fight off the mind control because the mind control, it's like coming and like you see them kind of like slipping in and out of existence a little bit. So then Dick comes up with the crazy idea. He says, listen, I got 2 tape recorders. He said, I want you to go on this tape recorder, spill your deepest, darkest secrets. I'm going to do the same. And when we find ourselves slipping again, we'll just play back the tape. It'll tell us who we are. And this way we won't be affected by the brain control, by the mind control. He said that the darker your memories are, like the badder the memories, the better, because that pain is what keeps you grounded and what keeps you here. Kory cursed him out. Like when he first told her the story, she was like, that's the dumbest daddy issued bullshit. And I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because she was just, because he said that it was an old trick that Bruce taught him on how to beat mind control. And then she was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. She's like, you and your stupid daddy issues, they always get us into trouble. And I was just like, whoa, like where did that come from? I was like, the man's trying to help here. But then after a while, he was just like, well, you got any other ideas, Carol? And she was like, no. So she took the tape recorder and she spilled the beans on tape. He spilled the beans on tape. So the two of them have their deepest, darkest moments on tape. And as soon as they recorded the footage, Kory immediately succumbed to the mind control. She was like steaming the curtains and she was mopping the floor. And then she was just like, hi, Ted. And what do you want for dinner? And he was just like, woman. And he was like, I just said. And then he tried to play back her recordings and it didn't work. So now he's just like, fuck it. He looks out the window. He sees the flock of ravens. He's like, oh shit, there goes Rachel. So he's on his way to go find Rachel. Now he hasn't succumbed to the mind control. So apparently young Gillian Grayson has the strength that it takes to beat mind control. But Kory, apparently she's not that strong. So then just when Dick's going to go look for Rachel, then that's when Kory's like, don't leave me, Ted. And then he's just like, I would never leave you. And then he brings her with him to, to wherever Rachel is. They go down to the church. He leaves her in the car. When he leaves her in the car, both tape recorders were in the car. So she's sitting in the car, and then Dick goes inside the church to try to save Rachel. When Dick goes into the church, he's once again met by the sheriff and the sheriff's goons, and they beat the ever-loving shit. Well, they didn't beat him up that. Dick put up a better fight this time. And I don't understand how you put up a better fight this time. First of all, there was more people in the church than there was when you fought them, when they fought them at the police station. There was like 4 dudes at the police station. There was like 7 when he was in the church. But Dick Grayson, because he's the GOAT, it's GOAT wing. He beat everybody up, got him down for the count, and then he goes upstairs to save Rachel. When he goes upstairs, he knocks out a couple of other people. Rachel's there, and then, he tells Rachel, like, look, me and Kory's being mind controlled somehow, but we got to get to the radio station in order to stop it. When they get there, they jump in the car, they go up to the radio station, and this was funny because when they got to the radio station, Kory was just like, oh my God, Ted, we're not supposed to go into the radio station. And then that's when Dick started like slipping a little bit. He started like losing where he was, losing his consciousness. And then Rachel was just like, yo, like, she's just like, yo, snap out of it. So then the two of them, they get up and they go into the radio station. Kory picks up not her tape recorder, but she picks up Dick's tape recorder and starts listening to Dick's memories. One of the memories that was on there was a season 1 flashback, because we got a lot of season 1 flashbacks in this episode, but it was a season 1 flashback of when when Dick and Kory actually did the deed for the first time. And then, he was just like, oh, should we talk? And then she was like, talk about the sex. And then he was like, okay, so we're all good. I'm going to do a sweep around the perimeter. But he said on tape that he kind of regrets walking away from her like that because he said that he does like her. He does have feelings for her. And he wish he would have told her in that moment. And then she just was like, huh? And then just put the tape recorder down. So now Dick and Rachel, they go inside the radio station. They're met by the goons, the followers of Trigon. Dick beats them up too. But then he slowly starts like losing consciousness because the mind control is seeping through. And then that's when Rachel was just like, remember me? I'm Rachel. I'm Raven. You're the boy from the circus, like you're Dick Grayson, like the Robin and everything. Then he starts having flashbacks, and then he starts beating up the guys, and then he beats up the guys, and he knocks out all the security guards. When he starts walking, he slipped again for a second, and this is why I love Rachel. This scene, Rachel, because Rachel doesn't give a damn. Like she just like Rachel's very like a matter of fact, that she's very like upfront. She doesn't care about your feelings. She ain't trying to sugarcoat nothing. As soon as he started slipping, she was like, bro, hey. She was like, no. Like, we're not doing that. Snap out of it. She's like, bring your ass back here because we got people to save. So they're looking around and they're trying to figure out how they can stop the whole mind control thing that's coming from the tower. Tim and Bernard, they make their way to the tower, and then while they're in the tower, they're basically trying to figure out how they can hone in on Kory's like alien signature. So they're in there, and again, so basically what happened was, when Dick and Rachel went to like the main room of the radio station, there was a guy there that was tied up to a machine full of blood and everything. I'm going to assume that the guy was either a psychic or a telepath or someone we know with magical powers. This particular person basically has the power. It's almost like the Young Justice episode where they came up with a world for children and a world for adults, but they were still both occupying the same earth, the same place, and the same time and the same space. They were in the exact same place at the same time. The only difference is you couldn't see both people at the same time because one was put, on one wavelength, and then another group of people was put on another. So this town that nobody can find, the town is there. It's just put on a different wavelength that, that everybody else isn't on. So both people are occupying, like when Tim and Bernard were in the radio station, along with the son of the waitress, when they were in the radio station, Kory, Rachel, Dick, they were in the exact same radio station. They just couldn't see each other in the same place. They're just on 2 different wavelengths. This particular person that was tied up to this machine full of blood, he had to have been a psychic or some sort of telepath to create that specific illusion. Plus, when you looked up to the sky, there were northern lights in the sky, so that's a dead ringer right away. So then Dick gets mad. He takes a crowbar and starts destroying the blood, starts destroying the machines, and when he starts destroying all the equipment inside the radio station, on Bernard and Tim's end, the radio station equipment started started blowing up as well, and like sparks started flying and everything like that nature. So Dick destroyed everything, and then the person that was creating the illusions before he died, he was just like, Trigon is coming, and then he died. So then Dick destroys the entire radio station, the signal is broken, the northern lights disappear, the town has been saved, the town is back on the map, and then all these people are free. The waitress and the father, they ended up going to the radio tower, and when they were there, they met their son, her brother. He was there, the family embraced, and they were just like, oh, the nightmare is over. The son was like, I knew you guys were there. And then, when everybody comes outside, the sheriff shows up and tries to shoot Dick, and then Kory knocks him out. And then she was just like, yeah, she's like, I listened to your tape, actually. And he was just like, yeah, those painful memories. And she was like, no, it wasn't the painful memories that actually, brought me back. And then he was just like, and in his mind, he was like, girl, I ain't tell you about no happy memories. What the fuck tape did you listen to? But then, so then, like, Rachel shows up, like Tim shows up because Tim saw Rachel. Tim hugged Rachel, and Rachel looked like she wanted to die. Like, I don't know what it was with when Tim hugged her. She was just kind of like, oh, she's like, what do I need an adult? And it was just like, that was actually pretty funny. But then, like, the gang's all together. Everybody's happy. Like, Dick's wearing a pink, like polo shirt that's full of blood. The family, they didn't, that was weird too. It's like they went through all this stuff. They didn't check on anybody else in the town to see if they were okay. They didn't check on anyone else's memories. It was just like, they just looked over at the Death family, waved their hands. Nobody said anything to each other, and then they just walked away. I'm assuming I keep calling them the Death family, but I don't know their last name, but I'm assuming the family who belongs in that town, I assume they went to each individual person and woke them up out of like their trance. Well, anybody who wasn't a legitimate follower. But anyway, the town has been saved. The Titans saved the day, and then they're on their way to go look for Gar, because remember Gar, everybody, Gar's still a thing. And they look for Gar, look for Superboy, and they still have to find the horn of Trigon. And then in the final clip, then we see Brother Blood. He's sitting in a highly classed restaurant, and then somebody brings over a glass of wine or alcohol. I don't know. I don't drink. He brought him some alcohol, and then he was just like, oh, it's from that gentleman over there, which happened to be Superboy. Superboy comes over to talk to Brother Blood, and then Brother Blood is like, oh, you're one of the supers. He was like, so what are we toasting to? And then Superboy was like, let's toast to new beginnings, because now Superboy and Brother Blood apparently are going to be connected, and they're going to be in cahoots. I don't know what the hell Superboy doing. Superman has to show up in the season finale to snap this boy out of it. That's all I'm going to say. And thank you for tuning in. We got these 2 episodes of Titans out of the way. And I feel like, again, these 2 episodes were shot. These 2 episodes were on the table. These are the 2 episodes that they were filming before they got the news that the show was going to get canceled and the show was going to end, which is why we had that weird to be continued thing in the middle. So now that they know the show is going to end, like, I expect in the next episode, I expect the course to be changed a little bit. I expect them to kind of wrap up certain stories at this point. I also feel like in next week's episode, we're going to get a full-fledged Gar episode that's going to be about what the hell Gar's doing in the animal kingdom. So that'll be interesting as well. But then again, so like I said, we only have 13 episodes for the season. We stopped at 6. We just got episode 7. We just got episode 8. So now we got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just like The Flash, we only got 5 episodes left for Titans. And we're going to use one of those episodes, in my opinion, for a Gar-based episode, because he wasn't even in the previous 2. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where the course is going to get correct. Hell, I don't even know if any other Titans are coming back, like Wonder Girl or like Dove or anybody else. But I did see a clip that Jason Todd does come back to help Tim learn how to fight. So that was it. But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Are you happy Titans are back? Where do you think Titans go from here? I'm happy Titans is back, and I'm sad to see it go. But like I said, it's just a shame what happened to them. Like I said, they got the news about being canceled in the middle of the damn season, and now they got to course correct this whole thing. I'm gonna miss me some Titans. But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will talk about it. Hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram, always on YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. Remember, I got episode 7 of Titans on my channel as well, which was the Molly Cauliflower Town, and I also got that Superman and Lois on the channel, which is still going strong. And for the love of God, everybody, 1 more month and a half to go till we start streaming that Street Fighter 6. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, till next week, thank goodness, for some more Titans action. Take care. Look out for your relatives and your family as well. Peace.